Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I am Nana Firdaus, and on today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew this beautiful layered skirt with spiral ends. Without further ado, let's get started. To make this skirt, I used 5 yards of thick chiffon fabric. Then I used 2 yards of lining. So I'll start by cutting the lining part of my skirt. And the measurement I'll be using is, I want my skirt to be 60 inches wide and the length will be your skirt length minus 1 inch. Then you're going to fold your lining into 4. Take your skirt length measurement here, and this is what you'll be using as your baseline. So what you do is, you're going to hem one end of your lining, then you join it to form your skirt. So to get the measurement that you will be using to cut your layers, this is what you do. So to get the width of each layer, you're going to use the width of your lining that you used. I used 60 inches, so I'm going to multiply 60 inches by 2.5. But if you want your skirt to be fuller than what you're saying in this video, you can use 3 inches. So you can use 60 times 3 inches to give you the length that you will need to gather. Then for the length of each layer, you're going to divide your skirt length, your actual skirt length divided by the amount of layers that you want to use. I want my skirt to have 6 layers, so I'm going to divide my skirt length divided by 6, which gave me 7 inches. Then I'm going to add extra 4 inches because I want the layers to overlap on each other, which will give me 11 inches. So I'm going to cut 6 pieces of fabrics that are 150 inches long by 11 inches wide. To cut the layers, I measured my 150 inches width on my fabric, then I cut it out. So I'll fold my fabric in such a way that it will make it much more easier to cut. I folded it into layers this way. After folding my fabric, then I measured 11 inches for each layers, which is the width for each layer. Then I'll cut it out. After cutting the layers that you need, you are going to weave one end of your fabric using normal thread, and the other end that will be spiral, you are going to weave it using fishing line. To get the spiral effect, I used a fishing line that is 1.20 mm thick. There are different thickness. You can get some that are thicker than this or some that are not as thick as this, but this is the perfect one for it. So I used this. To weave your fishing line to one end of your fabric, what you do is you start by just weaving the ends a bit, then you'll be inserting, remove the footer, then you will insert your fishing line to the side and weave it with the edge of your fabric. But make sure that your needle is not going to be sewing on it, else it will break your needle. I'm going to show you a closer clip of what it looks like when you are weaving it. So you just make sure you are guiding the fishing line to the end of your fabric so that your needle will not break, and you repeat the same thing for all your layers. So this is what it will look like. This is how you are going to weave the fishing line to the end of your fabric. Make sure that the fishing line is away from your needle, but it is also going to be on the edge of your fabric that you are weaving this way, as you can see. So sometimes after weaving it, you might get this where it will be rumpled in some area. What you do is you're going to pull it towards the end. So after weaving each piece, make sure that you weave extra thread so that after pulling it, you have extra thread to pull on it. So as you can see, I have extra thread there, so you pull it. Once you've done that to all, you're going to gather the end that doesn't have the fishing line on it. You're going to gather it. So this is what it will look like after gathering each layer. So this is the part that has the fishing line, and this is the second part that doesn't have a fishing line where I gathered. This is what the lining part will look like. I've hemmed one end and I've joined it to form a circle this way. So to place each layer on the skirt, I'll start from the lower part. Remember that after dividing my skirt length divided by 6, I got 7 inches. my lining piece and the last layer will not be equal, so that the lining will not be poking out of the layers. You are going to measure 6 inches from the part where you hemmed. You are going to measure it and mark it round your skirt. And that is where you'll be sewing the last layer. So you measure 6 inches from the hemmed part upwards, and that is where the last layer will be. So from that 6-inch mark, then you go up by 7 inches, which was what I got after dividing my skirt length by 6 inches. You know, I got 7 inches. So from the part where I'll be joining the last layer, which is the 6-inch mark, I'll go up by 7 inches, which is the place where I'll be placing the next layer. Then I'll mark another 7 inches away from that, which is for the next layer, and that is how I'll continue till I have 6 lines for my layers. So to sew your gathered piece on the lining, you first join each gathered piece together to form a circle with the right side facing each other. You're going to join it together this way to form a circle, each one. So after joining it together, the part where I joined it together is going to be on the part where I joined the skirt together this way. Then I'll start with the last layer. You can see the chalk markings that I have on the skirt on where each layer will be. So you just pin the last layer around the part where you measured your 6 inches away from the hemmed part, and you sew it down. And this is what it looks like after joining the last layer. Then you repeat the same thing for the next layer. We're going to join it together to make a circle. Then you place it on the 7-inch mark that you made. After sewing all your gathered layers on your lining piece, this is what you have. So the next thing you will do is sew your waistband. So the measurement for your waistband is going to be 6 inches by 60 inches. After cutting your fabric that is 6 inches by 60 inches, then you fold it into 2 this way and sew it round your waist this way. After sewing it, then you will create 3 1/2-inch casing for your elastic, where you will insert your 1/2-inch elastic. Then you join everything together. Then you will have extra 1 inch for the frills on the upper part. After inserting your elastic to your band, this is what you have. This is the final look of this layered skirt that has spiral ends. If you found this tutorial video helpful, don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, suggestions, or tips you would like to share, kindly drop them in the comment section below. Have a great day, ma. Salam.